name is Linda, and this is Kelly, and you are watching the Grow Curriculum Deep Dive for the series Animated from Grow Kids for Volume 6. So, for the next few minutes, we're just going to occupy a little bit of your time to give you a big picture overview of what you can expect for Animated. And we just want you to be better prepared to teach it and just to have a blast with your kids. But we're also going to take an in depth look at some of the things that make Animated super special. So, please tune in, tell all your friends, and we hope that this is really helpful for you.
Yeah, if you're a Grow user, then our goal is to give you a head start in prepping for the series. And if you're not a Grow user, that's cool. We love you. Feel free to steal some of these ideas, anyways. So, in case you're new to deep dives, here's what we do. First, we'll go through the series overview. Then, we'll give you a look at the theme, then the structure, and then finally some tips so that you will have everything that you need to get started with this series.
So, Animated is a series about feelings. Yes, feelings. We want our kids to be able to express what they feel and then be able to navigate those feelings based on what they're learning from the Bible. So, to do that, this month we're turning to the prophets to see what they have to teach us about what we can do when we and our kids have these big feelings.
So, for the first prophet we're looking at in week 1 is Jeremiah. Through the story of Jeremiah at the potter's house in Jeremiah chapter 18, kids will see how they are like clay in the masterful and safe hands of God. And that's why week 1's big idea is because of God, I can feel secure.
In week 2, we're turning to the story of Jonah getting swallowed up by the big fish in Jonah chapters 1 and 2. And Jonah knew that running away from God, or trying to anyway, was not a great choice. And he probably felt some level of shame as he insisted people throw him overboard because he admitted that the storm was probably his doing. But as God rescues him regardless, kids will know that God loves me even when I feel ashamed.
Yep. And that brings us to week 3, where we will learn about Elijah in 1 Kings chapter 19. Now, at this point in his story, Elijah is feeling discouraged as he's been fleeing for his life. And God shows up not in a spectacular way, but in a gentle whisper to remind Elijah that he's not alone. So, the big idea for week 3 is God gives me comfort when I feel sad.
And finally, in week 4, we wrap up the series with Nehemiah, who's not exactly a prophet, but he kind of serves as one as he leads the charge to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. And as kids learn about how Nehemiah was valued both in exile and in his homeland, and how he recognized his own value to this cause, they'll see for themselves that because of God, I can feel valued.
And all of our discussion of feelings and how God is with us through all of those feelings can be encapsulated by our monthly memory verse, which comes from Romans 15:13a, which says, May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace because you can trust in him.
All right, let's talk about the theme. This month's decorating theme is cartoon characters because our central topic is feelings, and who has more animated feelings than animated characters, right? So, we're diving into the world of all things animation for this series to help kids connect with the lessons. So, one thing I think would be super fun is if you're familiar with any of the Disney stuff, if you converted your stage area to kind of look like this Disney Animation Academy. It's basically an exaggerated art studio. And I think that would just be a really fun space to walk into. But Kelly has many more ideas to share about how you can set up your ministry space and more.
Linda, fun fact, did you know that I used to teach art?
I did not know that.
Yes, so this series is so fun to me. Besides the fact that I could wear Minnie Mouse ears to church every week, all the things. But this month's programming guide has some really great options. So, first up for decor, anything bright and colorful will do. We recommend easy hanging decorations like this, but like I said, anything bright, colorful will work. Snacks, of course, are kids' favorite part of any lesson. This month, you can get creative with your snacks. I love these paintbrush Rice Krispies. They are adorable and they look so tasty. It's also a great way to get a new volunteer involved. So look for someone in your church who loves to bake that can help you with these fun snacks. These Colors of the World color pencils are the perfect way to include all of the kids within your ministry. They can be made available for any of the crafts this month for kids to be able to use, or you can use them as a fun giveaway. The last two items that I want to share with you from the programming guide are specific to the Bible stories within this series. So, this Jonah and the Big Fish craft is so adorable. It's so fun, and it is a great option specifically for preteens during week 2. And this Create Your Own Map of Jerusalem using marshmallows is perfect for any age group during week 4.
Oh my goodness, Kelly. I love all these ideas so much. And I think we should just keep our spaces decorated like this all year long. It's so fun. But thank you so much for giving us all of those ideas. Check out more of Kelly's amazing ideas in our programming guide and our Pinterest board, and you'll find some prize ideas, giveaway ideas, and more decorations and all the good stuff. Okay, so next up, we want to give you a look at the structure of the series Animated. And if you've been using Grow for a while, then you know that there are some things that stay the same no matter what series you're doing. Like our teaching is always broken up into 3 sections: the what section, the so what section, and the now what section. The what section is kind of like our intro section where we tell the kids, what are we talking about today? And then our so what section is about all the teaching. That's where all of the fun teaching stuff happens because we want kids to know, well, why does this matter? Why does this matter to God? And why does this matter to us? And then the third section, the now what section, is the application where kids get to really think about what they learned and get some takeaways and some action steps that they can just take home and practice on their own.
But hopefully, you've seen that every series and even each week within a series does have a different structure within that structure. So, with these deep dives, we want to help you see the structure that makes each series unique so that you have a better grasp on how to teach it.
So, for this series, there are quite a few recurring segments that I think makes the series super special that you're going to love. And so, we're going to talk about the big idea reveal, the memory verses, and the small group activities.
So, let me talk about what some of these are real quick. In each week of Grow, we have these big idea reveals in the So What section. The big idea is a short, simple sentence that contains a truth we're trying to help kids remember from each week's Bible story. And every month, we try to reveal these big ideas in fun and creative ways.
And if you've been using Grow, you'll notice that most of the time the activity for the big idea reveal kind of remains the same from week to week within a series. And that's really to help you to not have to set up a whole new thing every week. And gets a little bit of predictability for kids. So they're like, oh, it's time for the big idea reveal. So for animated, we actually have 2 separate suggestions for you. The first one is for you tech savvy, design savvy folks who might just really love this challenge. And it's by using this website called Animaker, and you can create a little big idea animation. And it's actually not as daunting as it looks. It's very easy to do, and you can make it as simple as possible. But the fact that it's personalized by you and for your kids, I think would make this series just over the top special for your ministry. But if you are feeling apprehensive about that, we do have option number 2, which is you take these speech bubbles where you write in like the big idea, like parts of it on like 2 or 3 different speech bubbles, however many times you want to reiterate it. And then you can have volunteers, whether they're kids or your leaders, come up and like freeze in like a comical position holding these speech balloons. And then you tell the kids to yell animate, and then they'll like do something funky and then say like the line that's in their bubble. And I think that would be a really fun, interactive way for your kids to engage with the big idea.
Both of those are so fun. But in addition to having kids learn the big idea every week, we also have one memory verse for the entire month that we want kids to commit to memory. In order to scaffold the memorization process, we provide the memory verse coloring pages as well as the sign language videos.
Romans chapter 15, verse 13a. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him.
But we also have a section each week where kids can practice the memory verse together with a group.
That's right. And the memory verse modules in animated are really fun. So in week one, we suggest that you recite the verse as a favorite animated TV or movie characters. And there are so many to choose from. In our own house, our kids are pretending to be Baymax and Minions and Chipmunks, Peppa Pig. There's so many options you can go with. And some of the kids, I bet, will just do an amazing job impersonating these characters. So have a lot of fun with it. Ask your kids for suggestions, and I think that'll be a really fun way to get the memory verse to stick in their heads. In week two, we have an emoji fill in the blank printable, which is really cute because it just looks like, text message. Everybody knows what this is, and they get to choose their own emotions to represent the words. And I think by linking some of the words to an image that they select will help them remember the verse better. In week three, this is super fun. We have the kids say the memory verse like they are a villain doing a monologue, right? I think that's just so comical. Like, may the God of, like just have so much fun with that. I think, and also, again, we love seeing the things you do. So if you guys do any of these things, please send them our way because we would love to see this. And lastly, for week four, we suggest that you set the memory verse to the tune of a song from an animated movie or TV show. We recommend we don't talk about Bruno from Encanto because that is just so catchy, but there are so many songs that you can choose from, and that will just really solidify it. They'll never forget this memory verse for the rest of their lives. I guarantee it.
Like Linda said, please send those videos our way, especially if you get your adult leaders to do them. I think those would be our favorites. Okay, the third thing that we want to point out for this series, though, is the small group activities. We provide a ton of different modules that you can do in large group or small group, but for the small group activity, we try to provide something very hands on to review what the kids learned for the day. Would you like to tell us more about the small group activities for this month?
I would. Okay, so if you go through each week's animated lesson, there are a ton of really fun activities for kids to do that involve actually doing like the hand illustrations and flip books. And there's just a ton of stuff in there that your kids are going to really enjoy and you're going to enjoy teaching. But for the small group, we thought we would maximize on this next generation of kids who are very tech savvy, like more than most of us, I think. And this is just their world now. And I know like kids as young as like 4 and 5 want their own YouTube channels and whatnot. So we thought we would harness that and make our small group activities a time where they can practice making stop motion videos. Now, before you freak out, I have actually tried this with my kids. It's really easy. It's a little bit like tedious, I guess, but it's not hard. And I think kids would enjoy that. And so you can put together like a word, like a big idea kind of video, like whatever you want to do. You can use paper, you can use clay, just anything to bring your kids together to put together this production. I think kids would be so proud of what they've made. And then you can create your own channel for your ministry and just share it with all the people and be like, look what your kids made. And you would be impressed at the quality of the things that your kids are able to do. So please check it out. Don't be scared.
I love it. I'm so excited to see the emotions of the kids as they go through this series because I can just picture the kids at my own church maybe being a little hesitant to try something. But then as we go through this series, I just feel like they're going to be so proud of the things that they create that they're going to want to show everybody. So now that we've covered the overview, the theme, and the structure of the series, we have just a few more miscellaneous tips to help you make the most of this fun animated series.
Okay, first tip for you, which sounds like a no brainer, but we had to bring it up, is host an animated movie night. There are so many great animated flicks that have come out just in this past year alone, and they're not even all Disney. Like Over the Moon, Bad Guys, Paw Patrol, Minions. Like there are so many good ones that I think your kids will just have a blast, watching. And also, it would be really great to discuss afterward. Like, did you notice those emotions that they were having, like those feelings? Like, how did they resolve them? And it would just tie into the teaching so well. So, do it and have a blast.
Tip number 2 is get aligned with Grow Groups. This is a new feature for Volume 6 that I think you all are going to be very excited about. If you take a look at the first page of the animated series guide, you'll see that we share a little graphic that shows that this series aligns with our Grow Group series called Rewind. So be sure to take a look at future series to see where Grow Kids aligns with other Grow curriculum.
I love this tip because, again, like our church, we're very small, so we tend to use everything kind of all aligned together. So our entire church is aligned to Grow Kids because, kids stuff is awesome. Our last tip for you for this series is to make a comic book with the coloring pages. And yes, it's me gushing about coloring pages yet again. And you guys know we did this in volume 5 as well, but we created a coloring book with all of the illustrations from this volume. And this time in volume 6, we have an elementary and a preschool version. So you can print them out and bind them yourself, or you can get an already bound one from Amazon. It's really fun. I have the one from volume 5 over here, and it's so great. It's just so fun to have. And they're like adult coloring books too. Like you can do that for your volunteers. But what I wanted to point out is all of our coloring pages for animated kind of look like graphic novel pages. So if you want to just create a special little booklet for your kids for this series, like go ahead, like do that. Print them all out, bind them together, and just have a lot of fun with the graphics we provide. And I think kids would really enjoy that. So thank you so much for watching us and listening to us talk about the series. Like Kelly and I can literally talk about this all day because we just love kids ministry and we love creating things and also seeing what you guys are doing out there. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Kelly, for being here. Kelly, do you have any other like last minute tips, words of advice you want to give?
I just want to say, Linda, thanks for having me. I love getting to do these deep dives. And also, if you are stuck, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to myself or to David, our growth strategist. You can do that through the Facebook group. We would love to help you with anything that you need. But like Linda said, have fun. This is such a great series to let your kids kind of spread their creative wings and see what they come up with.
Yes, we love it. So make sure you send us all of the creative things you're doing and tag us on Instagram and in Facebook and just have a great time with this series.